Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Market Mamas. I'm Becky, and here with my girl Kendra, and we have a special guest today. We are Market Mamas, and so the whole purpose of Market Mamas is to just talk about the experience of trading from beginner all the way through, and what you experience and how you've learned and how you've grown and how it shifted your journey. So Amanda actually found us through YouTube through one of our videos, and so we started chatting, and she had really good questions. So we're like, can you ask us? Can we talk about this in a little bit more of a formal setting so we can share it? Because it was such a good dialogue that we felt like there was gems that we should share. So welcome so much, Amanda. We're really glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I just want to, I'm not a beginner trader. I've never taken a day trade. I am a noob. So yeah, I just started my classes probably about a month ago. So brand new.
Awesome. Yep. You're still very welcome to be here.
Thank you.
And congratulations for embarking on this journey and for, being so, active on our channel and, reaching out. And it's just wonderful. I'm super excited for you to join this world that we're in now.
Thank you. You guys seriously make it so approachable and nice. And that's not normal. I don't think that that's a normal thing in that world, honestly. Even though I'm new to it, it doesn't feel very approachable a lot of times.
Yeah. So, there's generally a little more intensity and volatility and excitement and heated and drama. And it's like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah. We created what we needed, what we wish we would have when we were at your stage, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get in. So I'm kind of at this stage where I'm not really sure yet when to dive into the sim. So I feel like I can get stuck into the learning mode because that's really safe, just learning and learning and learning and learning. So at what point does it make sense? Should I just learn one strategy and then dive into the sim? Should I learn 10 strategies and then, or all of them, which is what I feel like I would kind of tend to do, is master everything before I even start. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think about starting with the sim? Just diving in with, should you be blind? What do you think?
Oh, goodness. I think I was the faster of the divers of us. We both started with sim early. I think that what is most valuable is to start executing. So once you start learning a trading edge from a mentor or program or on YouTube or whatever, you have to start getting a feel for the market. And sim is by far the safest place to do that. And so I think every new trader needs to execute in sim for a good chunk of time, because then you just feel what it's like to hit buy. Do you buy bid or do you buy market? How do the orders transcribe? What is a normal profit for certain instruments? And it gives you valuable experience that then you can start building on. So as you're learning edges, if you're learning only one from someone in particular, or you're learning multiple, I would say learn as much as you can and then just focus on them in turn and practice them in sim until you feel like you have a really strong edge with them before you even consider moving out of sim. But I would definitely say sim on the earlier side, just because it really starts to reinforce it more so. Learn the edge, write it down, and then start trading it. And sim is such a glorious place because you don't have any financial responsibility and you don't have to take the hits hard. So before you even really are ready to take financial responsibility for it, that's definitely the place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. And with all of this trading, there's many parts to it. So I think you mentioned when we did our meet and greet that you are currently going to be using a platform that's provided, from your education course that you're doing. So, there's the learning curve of learning the platforms. And as Becky said, learning how to execute. Mm-hmm. And that will always be something, because more than likely you'll at some point will change to another platform. And so anytime, we're trying something new, it's very important to practice in sim, to learn, your way around. And then of course, it's funny you use the word mastering, which I think, there's trying to master the knowledge, right? The setups, terminology, but then there's the application. The application is, that's something else. And that is just forever. We talk about being a student of the game. So sim is a great place to start out and to practice. But just, be open to the fact that, you're always going to need to be mastering something. Even when you think you've mastered something, we're always having to, remind ourselves that, we're forever learning. So, but it's a good place. It's a good place to start for sure.
Okay, so give it just until you at least understand something enough to replicate it. Would that be fair? So like right now, if I went in there, I could hit the buy button and the sell button, and I couldn't replicate it, even if I messed. So I still have some time. I still have some learning before I can even dive into the sim, right? Okay.
Just a lot of time.
At least know what you're doing. Okay. Okay.
Have a setup and know ideally what it will look like, and watch a course on a setup and say, that person is saying this is demand. And so then I want to buy, and like be able to, you have to at least be able to identify on your charts what a demand setup would look like before you even waste your time in logging in and attempting to practice it. So you have to have some fundamental understanding of what a setup would look like and what it might present as. And that's when you start trying to take it. And then you figure out all the ways you can mess it up. And then you figure out how to stop messing it up by tweaking it this way and that way. And so it's a long, each setup will take many, many months to really fine tune and play with. And that only comes with trading, but you have to understand first what it even looks like.
Yeah. Because once you start actually executing outside of just like learning how to, right, use your platform, you want to be able to have that data. You want to be able to log your trades. So you need to be able to understand exactly what you did, what was your entry criteria, all these different factors. That way you can study that and then build your edge and see how the market speaks to you, what you're more inclined, to pick up. And, so though that's the most important thing, is make the most time of your sim that you can before you do decide to eventually go live.
Okay. And Kendra, I had asked you this last time, I believe, because my initial thought was to do the sim for really an absurd amount of time to just stay really, really safe, I think, and stay really comfortable, and then treat it kind of like a game. And you were like, no, you need to take it seriously. Like, can you talk more about that? Like taking it seriously?
Yeah.
I think that's a mind shift.
I mean, I've always taken it serious, but I will say that it took me almost 3 years to realize that trying to play it safe was damaging me, was limiting me, wasn't letting me, play full out, really fully participate. I've kind of correlated it to like, jumping in the arena and like getting one punch and then just running away. It's like, we're here to play. We're here to get hit. We're here to get back up, and we're here to just keep going. And so, being mindful of just there's safety, like, safeguards we need to put in place, because this is extremely risky what we're doing here. And so there is legitimate safety measures that you need to take. That's why we have risk management. That's why we cultivate discipline, and we have a process. But seeking that overall feeling of safety and eliminating the uncertainty of it all is what took me so long to not only get off of sim, but to, even when I had a really good trading edge, it just kept holding me back. So starting out with that like safety kind of mindset, you just got to be careful with it, because you don't want it to hold you back, because there's a lot of, you got to be really brave and courageous to be in this field. It's not for the faint of heart. And especially if, you do have like a background of like scarcity, you didn't come up wealthy, you weren't ever taught that money was a tool. So just always being mindful of those psychological factors, and embracing the fact that the market is very uncertain. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have this great opportunity to trade every day. So there is no way to really create this perfectly safe environment for us outside of course, honoring our rules. But there's no way to get around like losing.
Yeah, I think that with sim, it's a really important step to figure out what your setup looks and feels like. But then there comes a point where if you're tracking your data and you recognize that you have a certain few setups that you're starting to see and be able to execute on sooner, and your win rate is improving with those, I think that you will feel that that urge to make some money off of it, because you'll see, if this was a live trade, I would have made $500 just now. And those moments start to increase, and you start to realize you were profitable a couple days in a row in sim. And that could be real money. That very easily could be. And so then you're going to be ready, consult your mentor. And then I would say start with micros if you're trading the futures, or something with a lower leverage. If you're trading options, start with just one contract, and just figure out how to minimize the risk, but start leveling up. Because I feel like if you stay in sim for too long, you will develop too much comfort there, and will, feel more like a video game, and eventually you're going to make money, but you have to start just pushing yourself a little bit. And I think that starting with lower leverage, like only 1 or 2 micros, it will push you to the next levels that you have to go through in order to eventually become a profitable trader. Because I think I've said this in another episode, but new level, new devil, right? Once you go from sim to live trading, but even with just micros or with a funded company, it's going to totally just like destabilize you for a minute because you have real skin in the game. And so if you win or lose, that money is going to be yours. And so it does cause just this extra psychological hurdle of like, your heart's going to race higher. You're going to get sweaty palms. You're going to second guess what you would have just executed in sim. And so every time you progress, you're going to have to encounter this of going from sim to live and then leveraging up at some point down the line. Each of those steps will push you harder, and you literally won't get anywhere if you don't just push yourself and get through it. So definitely sim for a while, but then you got to start getting your feet wet and start inching deeper into the water to figure out how to swim.
Hmm. See, I can do
You
it.
have time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. We have to. Okay. So the psychological part is something that is really fascinating to me. So Becky, you said, I don't know if I can say this, but you were a nurse or are a nurse?
Yes.
Okay. So that's not really for the faint of heart. I wouldn't say. And you said that you thought that you were had tenacity and were a gritty person prior, but that changed.
Yeah, I have been a nurse for 18 years, and I did ICU and ER and critical care. So I think that prior to trading, I was like, I'm tough. Like at honor society college, like like if I want to do something and I decide I'm going to do it, I got this. You know, I felt like I was gritty and relatively confident and strong, and I had a balanced life. And when I started trading, I was like, well, what the heck is this new world that I'm like not capable at all, and I'm like reduced to tears and a fair amount of wine before my husband got home from work, because like some days are really just knock you on your butt because you think that you can do something and you start learning an edge and you start winning, and you get a false sense of confidence early with trading. And I did experience that. And then I was rapidly humbled, and I had to really dig deeper and figure out, like, if I actually really want this thing, it's like the hardest thing that I've ever done and pursued. And so I'm going to have to find deeper levels of, you may think that you're gritty and confident and stable, but trading will uncover deeper levels of your psychology that you didn't even know existed. And you have to just challenge them, open them up, talk about them, like go deep inside your soul, do some meditating and figure out what is it about you that's holding you back, your understanding of money or your identity in this world, your capabilities, and like start working through it, because trading is a different world in terms of psychology. And I definitely would say that I was humbled and I've had to put in substantial work to even make it this far.
Would you say that you took the training wheels off too soon? Did you, like you said, you got really confident really fast? Do you think that did it cause you to just take more risk than made sense? Like,
oh my God.
I know. I really want to know though.
Yes, I did actually. I got overconfident early. I was with a program and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I can do this. That dude just made $500 and I understood that trade. Like, I'm going to make $500. So I did start early, and then my first couple of weeks were profitable. And I was like, dude, I just made like a mortgage in my first 2 weeks of trading live. And I was on such a high. Like, I remember I went to my best friend Sarah's house the end of that second week, and I was like, I'm gonna be $1 million trader by Christmas, because look what I did this week. And I was just like verbal diarrhea about how I was amazing. And then like within 2 weeks later, I had given back all of that couple grand plus more, and my account was starting to go down. And I was like, this is not it. Like, I don't know what's happening. I didn't have an edge. I got overconfident. And so that was only after I had been trading 3 months probably. And that 3 months in sim, then I went live, and like, so I definitely jumped really early because I thought that I saw it and I thought that I understood it. And I feel like probably I understood like 10% of it at that time. And I actually pinged between live and sim at least 4 or 5 times in my first year of trading, where I was like, I would go back to sim, like tail between my legs. I would really study. I would take extra classes. I would get up. I would do more replay. And I would build back up my confidence, and I would build back up my sim account. And then I would go live again. And that new level, new devil, I would get into trouble. And then I leveraged up sooner in terms of my personality. I would start getting consistent wins, and then I would start doubling my leverage or trade copying once I started trading with funded accounts. And I was reasonably humbled at every experience with leveraging up, whether it's from sim to live or within live, trying to go heavier. And that's definitely my personality of just like, let's just jump out the plane, and I'm pretty sure the chute's gonna open and it's all fine. And in trading. It's been rocky.
I love that.
Yeah.
Kendra, did you have a similar?
I lost, but differently. So I still paid my tuition. So unlike Becky, I did probably spend twice as long in sim. However, when I was always more, when I first started out, I was more into swing trading. So that was where my jump from sim to live trading went. And initially that was wonderful. I entered the market right when we were very bullish. And so it was very easy to make money. And so I did build myself up a nice account. And then we started dabbling into options. And I did start focusing more on day trading. And I want to say I did just do micros. But I slowly started to, all those gains I had made with my swing trades in the bullish market, I slowly started to lose, doing option trading and doing day trading and micros. Again, not fully having a good enough edge. So I definitely roller coaster, and I would swap back and forth to sim and live again, and just a lot of different, just a lot of different, always trying to, come up with a new way. And I would have periods of things would be working, and then conditions would change, and I just didn't have the trader maturity, and so thankfully Becky and I eventually moved over to funded accounts. And that really, really helped because we were at that point also, we had really found a home, in terms of our, education. We had advanced our education and mentorship. And, it was just kind of organically just evolved into, where we were able to have an environment where we can thrive and not have all the bleeding that, we were doing prior to that. So yeah, there's just no way. Like everyone has different personalities and different approaches, but there's no way you will not lose. Like that's the only thing trading is a guarantee in trading is you will lose a substantial amount of money. If you play the game, you're going to lose a substantial amount of money regardless of what instrument you trade, what style you are, just because that's how we learn. So yeah.
Would you guys say that it's so when you're going through that process and you're just like you said you're hemorrhaging, would you say that having a mentor is imperative in that in those moments because you're like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I can't really see, I don't know, did you guys have those moments where you're like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I don't even know what strategy I'm missing or what layer of information I'm missing, like so is that where it almost seems like you have to have a mentor to work you through that and get you to, because I don't know. Is there another way? Is there another way around that?
I mean, it's very complicated because yes, of course, like it's wonderful to have someone because all of our mentors, like, they didn't just start and like instantly become who they are. Like they had a journey too. And so it's nice to see someone who has made it through. However, there is the personal accountability. It doesn't matter how much someone teaches you and shows you, you're never going to be them. And we're never going to trade like anyone else other than ourselves. And there's so much, there's an edge and there's the technicals, but then there's this person inside who has to, that has to match, with so many different other things in order for us to, to be able to perform like we need to in order to win this game. So I don't know. I didn't articulate that very well, but Becky can probably.
Yeah, that was I love your perspective. Really, I love your guys' mentality. It's just all about accountability and pushing yourself past what you think you can do. I really love it because I think a lot of things outside of day trading are very just, I need somebody to hold my hand and I need to go soft and slow. And it's almost more of a balance between the two, I think is what you guys are saying. But yeah. I don't know. I just love your guys' mentality.
I think it's twofold. I think your question, I think what Kendra answered really well was that you have to own your responsibility. Like you can't say, I didn't know. And then this mentor told me to buy. And so I bought and I don't know why I lost money like that. You will never make it if that is your approach to trading. You buy sell signals are a recipe for failure. You want to embrace the journey and learn it and understand it. And you're only executing a trade if you understand the edge in that trade and what data is supporting you and what is the potential risk and what that should mean for your risk management. And you have to own all of that. But I do think that having a good mentor will drastically improve your learning curve, because it does give that almost a safe relationship to be able to unload the really hard days. And Kendra and I were blessed to have multiple mentors over our few years, but then also our accountability partnership. So I think both of those are a significant benefit to the first couple of years of trading, because anyone who's more advanced than you or is similar in the journey than you is a safe place to kind of unload what you're going through, because it's really hard. And people who don't trade just are not going to get it. So welcome to that part of this phase for you, because your spouse, your best friend, your parents, they're going to be like, it's because you're doing something dumb, honey. Like you're throwing money in the computer and thinking that it's going to come back to you more so. And people just, they don't get it. But having a community and a mentor to work through it with is going to normalize it for your mind and your heart and keep you in the game much longer. It will be able to let you release the pressure of when you make a mistake or when you're on a big high of a big win, to like pull you back to that neutral state of like, you're okay. Like you learn that day, a big win or a big loss or a neutral day, you learn from the market and you're being a stronger trader, even if it's just 0.1% this day. They sort of like settle it all out. And I feel like that has been really beneficial, having some good mentors and good people around us. We say in our locker room, because, you know, if you're not on an NBA team, nobody else understands what a player in the NBA is going through but a player in the NBA. And that's the same thing for day trading.
What do you guys love about day trading? Why do you get up every morning and do it? Outside of the potential for making money, is there any other reason? I don't know. I imagine that there's like this thing in you where you're like, I can do this, and I don't know. Is there anything else outside of that? I mean, obviously everybody is probably day trading to make money, but I don't know. What do you love outside of that? Is there anything?
I used to always say this, and I knew this from the beginning, that trading is a transformation of the mind. I mean, trading has really helped me and forced me really to just grow, to evolve, to develop not only a skill set that's amazing and incredible, life-changing, but, you know, expand my person, expand my identity. It's almost like my redemption story, you know, because I didn't find trading till I just turned 38. So like around 35. So it's just beautiful. It's amazing I feel like it's such a blessing. I feel very grateful to even have been introduced, you know, and just took a leap of faith. I mean, it was literally a leap of faith. Like I was not the type to like invest in myself, or I was so used to pouring into everything else and being satisfied with being like a master server basically in my life. So it was something that I literally chose for me. I didn't understand it. I didn't have to do it. And it's just constantly, you know, it just became a lifestyle. And I think I said this in another episode. It's like, I chose trading, but you know, trading chose me. Like I can't go back. It's like, maybe it's an addiction, but I feel like, I've been able to create safeguards and parameters in place to make it an addiction, that is a very good thing. And I have an addictive personality, so I'm learning to work my weaknesses, you know, to, you know, make, you know, change my life, and it's happening. And I think that in of itself, that becomes, once you see the, progression of it all, it just becomes something that you can't, like, I can't imagine myself not being a trader now. It's like, I would never want to go back. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So
Yeah, to go do a 9 to 5.
Yeah, because of course, what do you mean? Like, you're going to do everything else you did. And I still do everything else, of course, because I have to, because I'm an adult, but, but I wouldn't want a life like without trading. So
I feel like, thank you for asking this question, Amanda, because so much of what we talk about is the challenges that we've had to work through to stay in this game. And that's very real. But like, why, you know, like what do you love? Like, obviously we want to make money, but Kendra and I are not $1 million traders yet, but we will be. And I think that the love of it is definitely more than the money, because it's like some days it's like you're just putting yourself back in the fire. Like we talk about woman in the arena, or entering the arena every morning, man or woman. And it's like, you're basically saying, punch me in the face if you need to, because I'm going to figure out your moves and I'm going to learn from that punch and I'll be bruised tomorrow potentially or whatever, you know? And so I think that the only reason why you would do this is that you're crazy enough to love it. And I think what I love about it is that it challenges me to a level that I didn't know was possible. I think, I mean, being a nurse, it was a difficult college education and it is a challenging career for multiple reasons. But there's a stability once you get situated in that, and there's a team around that. And I think that day trading, it's really friggin' hard. And I love the challenge. It's like, you know, when you are trying to build something up and you have to push harder and dig deeper, it's like pushing yourself. Can I climb that mountain? That sounds really hard, but like train for it and reach the top of the mountain. And it's actually possible. And the feeling that you get when you do something that you're not sure is possible, but you surround yourself with the right people and you pursue it, it's like nothing else in the world. Like that sort of achievement when you didn't even know that this world existed a few years ago, and then the levels that you didn't realize were in your world. You know, I come from not coming from money and expecting like a paycheck and a 401k eventually that's going to be reasonable enough, but like screw that. Like you can have the world if you put in this crazy amount of work, and that opportunity is just, that for me is what I love about it. And I love that is so real, and we can help kind of grow that for everyone, because it's like a wonderful new world that challenge can really build for you.
Really, really love that. No, that I think you hold yourself differently than you did prior. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that Kendra before and Becky before, they are different women than who's sitting in front of me, which is amazing. It's amazing, and that's inspiring. Honestly, I truly cannot wait to be sitting in your shoes and just kind of, you know what I mean? Because you do, like, you're absolutely right. I think it's, what is the point of just knowing the way that it's going to end up in 5 years if you keep doing the same thing you're doing today versus, I don't know.
It sets you apart, that ability to be able to continue to pursue something that has no guarantee, that has no, you know, safety or security, but just doing it anyways. I mean, that type of commitment, it sets us apart. And I think that is what we fall in love with. And it's not for everyone. So if you can achieve that, I think it's something to be celebrated, and it's something that just, it really elevates you, your whole being.
You guys are so inspiring, honestly. I can't wait. I can't wait to be there. I mean, I know it's gonna suck, but it's fine. Because if you guys did it, I can do it too. So
that's right.
Okay. This is, I really love this question. Don't I'm at what point in your journey did you transition from being considering yourself an aspiring day trader to a day trader? I mean, I guess profit might be an obvious answer in that, but was it more than that?
I think it's less than that than you would think, actually. So I think that aspiring day trader is definitely the beginning, but you will never be a day trader if you stay in that headspace where you're an aspiring day trader and eventually you'll make it. I think you have to own it before you get it, because then you believe that it's possible. And that's something I've learned through all of the content that I've consumed and the mentors that I have learned from, especially my current mentor, Jermaine. He's really good with this type of conversation. But it's like, if you want to be a successful 7-figure trader and know what your discipline looks like and know how you get up and you execute and you have studied and you are successful, even if you're not quite there yet, like own that, like call that future to the present. And that will give you the fuel to know, like, I'm already there. Like you're saying, I can't wait to be where you are in 3 years. And it's like, Kendra and I are nowhere near where we're going to be when we finally feel any sort of like settlement in our lives. And I think saying like, I am a really successful trader with like a vacation home and like all of my things, all of the needs met for all of my extended family, owning that person as who I am now. But currently this day, I'm still growing. I'm still improving my skill and dialing in my discipline a little bit. It makes it like it's gray, but it's essentially like I am that person. And that has taken months to develop. And I think that the more that I heard those types of conversations around calling your future to your present, the more I have embraced them and then actually felt more of a shift in my internal like understanding of who I am.
Yeah. I think that I totally agree with Becky. I think we just did an episode on Joe Dispenza, and one of the things is like you have to be greater than your current environment. And trading, literally, we have to be greater than our current circumstance, our current accounts, our current mindset. We're building evidence every day. You know, we always do the brick analogy, you know, brick by brick, we're building a foundation, but ultimately it does come down to that identity, because it doesn't matter how much you study or how much you trade for that matter. If you can't fully embrace that, you know, you're just going to continue holding yourself back. And so Becky, like Becky said, we did extensive work in, you know, the psychology department, trying to fully accept this identity that we are traders. And it's still, it's an everyday choice, right? It's an everyday choice, and it's an everyday struggle. Like every day we go to war, every day is a new battle, and every day we do great. Okay, great. That's one day. Okay. Every day we do horrible. Okay, great. That's just one day. So it's just continually waking up and betting on ourselves. And I think where that switch turned was when we stopped letting all the environment, all our current circumstances dictate how we could feel about our trading. And when we finally just like, we're like, F it, like, this is what it takes, and I'm here for it. And some days it's going to suck, but you know, we're stronger. We're stronger for it. And we just kind of, a little delusional, a little crazy. Like you have to be. Trading will make you that way, and that's okay, because I mean, all the greats, like they were pretty crazy. So,
and a red day does not mean you're not a successful day trader. It means that you're a day trading is fucking hard, and you had a red day and you learned from it, and you're still a successful day trader.
Yeah.